Oh Pedro, where did you go, oh Pedro? That's what they're saying over at the Mandoverse, the Mandalorian, of course, getting ready to go into production for Season 4. And its big star, Pedro Pascal, doesn't seem to want to be there for filming. He's treating it like it's a cartoon, a voiceover artist, like it's going to appear on a Saturday morning. It is not receiving the gravitas that a Star Wars show would seemingly deserve, unless you consider that Star Wars is not what it once was. But Pedro is going somewhere else. He's going somewhere else within Disney even. It seems, if the reports are true, that Pedro Pascal will be going to play Reed Richards in the upcoming Fantastic Four film. Is he the right choice? And what does this say about Star Wars? We'll explain it to you in a way that no other channel will right now. Welcome back, folks, to the place where we put the word down on Hollyweird, telling you exactly what's going on, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, and don't forget, we got a big announcement coming up. Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, big-time announcement about thatparkplace.com. But we will not tarry on such things today, because we've got to talk about Pedro Pascal. We've got to talk about Star Wars. We've got to talk about Marvel and how interesting it is that apparently Star Wars is not important enough anymore for stars to actually be a part of it. And it may also come down to the fact that a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away, one Kathleen Kennedy sabotaged Star Wars and has made it rather irrelevant in comparison even to a very struggling Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let's talk about the ramifications of everything here right now. All right, well, let's get into our very first topic today, folks. And it is a doozy right out of the gates. Of course, Marvel struggling a bit in terms of what's happening with them. And we talked about this in the 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time show that we released this afternoon. And that is, of course, that looking at the box office reports for demographics for the Marvels in the first weekend, we discovered that something like less than 10% of the audience was women 24 and under. In other words, the demographic that they were aiming for, that they advertised to, that they wanted, this was supposed to be their anthem movie. This was supposed to be their iconic film. It was a movement to go see the Marvels. Less than 10% of those individuals came, women 24 and under. And so that really speaks to a huge problem that Marvel has, as Phase 4 and Phase 5 were supposed to diversify not only the cast, but the people who came to watch the Marvels. But they're not giving up just yet. Take a look at this. Out of Bounding into Comics by John Trent, who has been quite the friend to the channel. Rumor, Pedro Pascal tapped to play Reed Richards in Fantastic Four because Kevin Feige thought the cast was way too white. Here's what it says. The latest rumor surrounding Marvel Studios' upcoming Fantastic Four film is that Pedro Pascal was tapped to play Reed Richards because Kevin Feige believed the cast was way too white. This latest rumor comes from Scooper Jeff Snyder, who detailed that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige conducted screen tests for Reed Richards before the SAG-AFTRA strike went into effect. The screen tests included Jamie Dornan and Christopher Abbott, but allegedly they did not go well. Marvel Studios then approached Jake Gyllenhaal, as well as Adam Driver, Kylo Ren himself, the king of emo, the emperor of emo. But they reportedly wanted too much money. As for the rest of Marvel's first family, Feige and Marvel Studios were happy with Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and Eben Moss Backrack as Ben Grimm, who I think he will do a fantastic job. Not only was Gyllenhaal reportedly too expensive, but Snyder detailed that Feige feared the cast was way too white. In the words of one insider, Reed Richards would be the character eyed to diversify the cast. Now, Pedro Pascal is Chilean, I believe, at least partly. Part of his heritage is Chilean. And so I guess that's going to be enough to satisfy one Kevin Feige. But I want to go to the panel right now and ask you guys, what do you think about this idea that Marvel is not diverse enough and you just can't have a movie like the Fantastic Four that's just too crazy Caucasian? What do you guys think? I want everybody jump in at once now.
I'll start by just saying, I read Fantastic Four back in the 70s and 80s. And, the thing about these movies is I want to see people who look like the comic book characters.
Is that possible, though, Alan? That's a question. Is it possible, or in today's world, can we not have a movie that's mostly white? Is that not apropos?
look, it's this has been the debate since it started. It's finding people who look like the actual characters. Robert Downey Jr. looked like Tony Stark. It's you want to get as close as possible. The whole idea is that you want to relive, your comic book days up on the screen, and you want to feel like it's familiar, that the people who made this movie understood the thing you loved as a child and replicated on screen. And then when you start veering off of that, when you start playing around with characters, you start playing around with storylines, you start playing around, you just disconnect, and you're losing the big audience that is going to support this film, which are the original fans. So I could talk specifically about Pedro, but at this point, it's like, I really just want a comic book movie starring people who look like the characters I read when I was a child, and I'll leave it at that. I don't think I'm wrong, and I don't think there's anything inflammatory about me wanting to say that.
That's just your white privilege, Alan.
Oh yeah.
So what do you guys? What do the rest of you think? Can we still do movies that are majority white? Is that offensive? Has the world changed? And now, I'm not asking if the majority of movies need to be majority white. I think that's
that
even offends me.
Let me just answer that question.
Yeah.
I don't want movies that are majority white. I like diversity. I grew up in LA. We're fairly diverse here in LA. It's something I'm accustomed to. But I'm speaking to the Fantastic Four. I'm speaking to Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, Ben Grimm. I want to see a movie starring them.
That is the difficulty, Alan. When you start to go back into these legacy stories that were majority white in their telling, and what do you do then if you're Hollywood? Because Hollywood is determined to present these to a global audience that is not. But it's this weird thing that goes on in Hollywood, and I'd love to get Paulie's take on this. The strange thing is that Hollywood seems to believe that majority and minority are determined by what exists in the United States, not what exists globally. And so they're constantly trying to represent minority groups in the United States, but they don't necessarily take into account the vast groups that exist internationally and sort of this kaleidoscope of humanity. I'll give you an example of this. Hollywood loves to put on actors who are of Chinese origin. They love that because they're aiming for the China market, right? But Hollywood doesn't care very much if they have Aboriginal people on film. They don't care at all because they don't pay money. Hollywood doesn't care very much about whether they have people of Polynesian descent. They do not care very much because there's not a lot of money there. It seems to me that Hollywood virtue signals in the direction of money. Paulie, what do you think about it?
I wouldn't use virtue signal. I would use which movie stars sell in territories. That's just it.
So are we saying? Sure.
That's just it. Yeah, that's how you. That's especially the more corporate you get, the more they're into that. As far as which star can open up a movie in certain in different territories.
Now, let's play that out though, Paulie, with specificity to what we're discussing right now. So they're going to go to Pedro Pascal, and if you're Marvel, you're trying to get a big name star. Number one, I don't know that Pedro Pascal at this point is a huge star. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I don't know that Pedro Pascal sells tickets to any particular region outside of perhaps Chile and Argentina really love Pedro Pascal. I don't know. But what do you make of this decision to cast Pedro Pascal? Couldn't they go with somebody else who would get those key countries and territories better?
Well, first of all, this is a rumor. There's nothing legitimate to back up what Bounding has reported or what this other guy has reported. I double checked. My close sources who are directors in the business, they're like, no one's talking. Yeah, maybe, probably. So that's where the way I see it, where this is at today. I can't imagine, Kevin Feige saying something as stupid as that, as far as we got to make it less white. But hey, that's the world we're in today, right? It can't just be based off of someone's talent. Okay, or in it, and then if it helps that they look like the character, sure, why not? But I'm definitely more pliable when it comes to fantastical characters, fiction characters, than a historical character. And yet Hollywood still to this day still casts historical characters who are Latino, still cast them white. That's just the business. That's just the business. It is a funny thing. Now going back to your question of is Pedro Pascal, can he open up territories? I don't know. I don't know. I do know that the last couple of years, there's no one who's been hotter than Pedro. Whether it's Last of Us, Mandalorian, the Nick Cage film, and then before that with Narcos, the guy, it's this guy's time. So, to me, he's definitely a caliber actor that could pull something off like this. Again, if we're to me at this point, we're fan casting WD. So,
well, the reason that we put forth this rumor from John Trent is that we also have the same reporting coming out of Deadline as well, and Deadline is claiming their sources.
Everything's might, maybe, Entertainment Weekly. I know WD. I'm sorry for arguing that point. I'm just saying, like, I'm almost thinking people just love to leak this stuff in the biz just to get people's reactions to gauge to test the waters. My thing is that until I see from Pedro's people, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of his, not his politics, but of his talent. So, but yeah. So I think territory wise, Marvel and the Fantastic Four name, I still think it can open up. It can open up in territories without a big star.
Well, Fletch, the thing I think many people are wondering here, there's been significant reporting, this out of the Bespin Bulletin, that according to the schedule that we have for Pedro Pascal, doesn't look like he's going to be on set again for season 4 of filming for The Mandalorian. He's going to do voiceover work. Now, he might do like a 2-minute cameo with the mask off. But I think some people are beginning to wonder, he's doing The Last of Us. He's doing another film. Now there's talk that he may be joining up for Marvel. What does this say about Star Wars, that he's too busy to actually be on set for Star Wars?
Yeah, it does feel like, you're trying to go in a lot of different places. There's even all throughout like South America and stuff like that. Everybody's kind of like, there's like this buzz because they feel like if now Mando takes or Pedro Pascal takes like a big role in Marvel, he's gonna have like all the Infinity Stones, and each Infinity Stones is like he was in a major DC movie with a hero. He was in Star Wars. He's in The Last of Us. So he has all these tentpole franchises that he's been on. He's just like, let's get this one stone to complete the set. So it's almost like, he is everywhere. Like Paulie was saying, there is like a buzz for him. On the other hand, there is also the split fan base, I guess, because there's a lot of people who are like, this is so excited, I'm so hype, but then there's this other like super nerd part of the Latino community who is upset because for some reason there's been this rumor about the Fantastic Four plot leakage, and this is going to be a Sue Storm centered movie, and Reed Richards is supposed to get like the back seat. So according to like the fan sites, and mind you, a grain of salt here, this is all like a lot of the South American, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico. They're saying that the reason a lot of people didn't want to take this Reed Richards part is because, hey, he's gonna get like, he's going to be like the back character. It's all going to be about Sue Storm. And it's kind of like what Marvel is gearing, MCU type of thing. So you have a lot of people going like, why do you give it to him? Like, he's getting the secondhand scraps of like what Marvel used to be. So it's
a
so
good
even
point.
the fans,
If you think about like those ultimate arcs with Reed Richards, he becomes a bit of a fascist. Honestly, he's one of these guys that's too smart for his own good, and maybe for everyone else's good. Where he's dealing with things that maybe the character is kind of arrogant because he knows so much more than everybody else, and he's supposed to be smarter than everybody else. And of course, towards the end of the Infinity Saga, they had a stack of people who were the smartest people ever, and Shuri was just right on the top of that right there. Yes, yet another super smart person who's smarter than everybody else. So the question became, well, what do you do when you introduce Reed Richards, who is literally supposed to be the smartest person in Marvel? I think that's an interesting arc for someone like Pedro Pascal to play, which can be in some ways reminiscent of Tony Stark. So you get this strong male lead who is has problems listening to other people and has a team dynamic inherent to the way that they structure this character, but also is a person that needs everyone to trust that he is smarter than everyone else. I think that could be interesting, and I see some meat on the bone there for Pedro Pascal.
But do you feel
Marvel? Go ahead,
do you feel,
Fletch.
do you feel, Jonas, that he's going to be like? I mean, are we going to get the Reed Richards, like the Illuminati Reed Richards, and the one that Namor took his wife, that basically is like the evil guy, it's like, so you're gonna make him like, oh, this is the smartest guy, this is this, because Pedro is not the spring chicken right now for acting, and they're supposed to be rebooting the thing. No offense. No offense.
Dude,
He's old.
He's not a Pojito anymore, guys. Not a Pojito.
Hold on.
That's it.
Hold on. This whole
Gallo
ages thing,
viejo.
this whole ages thing is like really strange and weird. The guy's 48. He still looks like a wapple, and he looks intelligent, and and the reason why I'm saying this, I'm 53, so I got to back up my boys. So
You're still young, Paulie. You're still hitting the gym every day. You could wear that Mandalorian armor, no problem.
yeah, and I got the Reed Richards hair.
Yeah.
That's right. No receding there. Looking
There's your
good.
fan cast right there.
There
That's
you
right.
go, Fancast.
But can you split an atom?
Yeah.
That's about
And thus it is, folks, and thus it shall be. Drop this one in the can. Another video of excellence down. And what a joy it was that you joined us for it. We hope you liked it. If you did, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. We covet your comments. We care about what you think. And we hope all of you out there are about to have a wonderful Thanksgiving week. We are hoping that you will have just so much fun with family and friends. And if that's not going to happen, hang in there, folks, because good times can happen again, and we are rooting for you. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.